Welcome back to Huahua Crafting, beautiful people. Today we are going to look at making a matchbook. Matchbook, we all know matchbooks. Those tiny little books where the matches used to come in, and we have adapted that into paper crafting. So let's get started. Getting that background out of the way. I'm using a strip of paper. The size is 7.5 inches by 3 inches. You can use whatever you have. 8 inches long by 2.5, 3, even 3.5 if you really want to. It's up to you. This little strip of paper was there and I thought it would be amazing to use. It's remnants from a previous project. If you notice there, you'll see I had glued that label down, upside down. And that label is also from Digi and SVG Designs for You. You can't really see it's upside down, but I know it is. I stapled in that little bit of paper, also paper strips, remnants from a previous project, where I covered the back of tags and these little strips were left. So I'm using those instead of throwing it away. Make use of that. I love creating with scraps because that way you get the most out of your stash and we then curb all the rubbish. Now that one is just less than 2.5 inches. I'm showing you this little other pocket that I made. Same principle. There's a little pocket on front where you can put in little goodies. I've used more or less the same thing that went flying all over, but it opens with a Velcro dot. And I used some money envelopes where I just cut the top off and then glued it together to make an accordion folder. Same principle, I just adjusted it and had the flap much longer than should be, and I also folded it up to give that extra pocket. I then glued some paper on top just to round it off and did some stamping like I'm showing you there. And it closed really well with that Velcro dot. Same principle, you can play around. Again, there's no wrong or right way of doing this. Let's get started. You don't have to measure completely, just fold it up about 0.5 centimeter. I'm using a bone folder there to just bend it over on the metal ruler. I'm going to glue that tiny little bit up. It's about 0.5 centimeter, maybe not 0.5 centimeter, maybe 1 centimeter. That's better, yes, 1 centimeter. Gluing it down, making sure that I burnish it well, so that it sticks down completely. Then I'm grabbing my stapler, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to staple that on the other side, just getting the center of that, stapling that so that the bended part is on the inside. Now we're going to fold that on itself yet again. You can use a scoreboard. I just wanted to show you that you don't always have to have a scoreboard to do paper crafts. And this one is just being eyeballed, just folding it over itself. Idea is to fold that long part over so that it just fits underneath that little flap. We're going to glue that down carefully, just the very end, so that that can stay there. So use the bone folder and fold that then there. Now before you do the gluing, again I'm going to just ink it quickly using vintage photo and inking the edges, especially every part that you will see. The inside we will see, because the paper strips that I'm going to use is not as wide as the little strip of paper. It is quite a bit shorter, or not as wide, narrower I guess. Inking all the ends, just ever so slightly. It's really a very easy and quick project for today. So now we are going to take our little papers and we are going to attach it. You can hand sew it, you can machine stitch it, you can glue it in. I want to show you a method using your stapler and an eraser to actually get it in there. Just trying to get it in the middle, and every time I put it down I move the little papers, so I need to redo that continuously. You'll see me go back and forth trying to figure out where I want to place it, getting it right in the middle. It looks more difficult than it is. I just don't know. I don't think my mind was all there when I was doing that. Trying to get the middle of that, still fumbling. Why did I close it yet again? Because now when I open it, it will fold over again. This time I'm grabbing it so that it doesn't slide. Turning it over right onto that eraser, opening up the stapler as if you're going to tack a board, and just pushing that into the eraser, giving you that leeway. Why do we do this? If you do not have a long ridge stapler, you can then use this one. If you try to put this into the stapler, you will see that you won't have enough room to reach there, the end where the staple should go. So be careful, don't get those things into your fingers. They're quite strong. And there we have it. Now we have to glue down that tiny little lip, if I can call it that. I'm using collage medium again, distress collage medium. Scared I will glue the whole thing down because then it will be stuck there. Just pressing onto that so that it can glue. Putting on some clips there, putting the stapler away just so that it can dry properly. Putting some of the tools away. And just giving that a moment to dry. Some little labels that I will probably add to the front. Getting the stamps out so long. I've noticed that I continuously just rub my forefinger and my middle finger against my thumb once I worked with glue. Those little stamped images from previously, we had the 3 on that craft paper, deciding which one I'm going to glue down on the front of the matchbook as decoration. See how easy it is to add bits and bobs to projects once you've done them. And that's why I like to take some time, just busy work, cut labels, get it done, so that when I want to create, I've got quite a few available. Just trying to place that sort of in the center of that little matchbook, making sure that it's sticking down all around, taking the clips off. And the minute that I open that little flap opens up, which was quite a shocker, as I really expected it to stay closed. Maybe I was too tough on it and I torn it open. So this time I'm using glue stick to try and glue it down. Not too much, just on that little flappy, so that there is not a problem later once we close the little booklet. Because if you put too much glue, you will glue that cover that should open up to the back. Holding that again in place just to get it to set. And there we have it. So now we're going to look for labels to attach so that we can complete the decoration process. Deciding on one label, keeping it very simple. And there I've done it again. I opened up that book for the second time. They say a donkey bump its head against one stone. I guess I'm not a donkey though, there. Anyway, trying Tombow Aqua glue, which is a clear glue, and holding it yet again in place, and maybe third time lucky. Let's see. See there, I'm rubbing that fingers again. Just having some patience to try and get that to stick. More labels, deciding what I will add there. Sorry, I'm a little bit off camera there. Rummaging, trying to find just the perfect label. As you know, the story from Love Junk Journals, Tracy Fox's labels, or Digi and SVG Designs for You. Their labels are also quite exquisite. Love the quality of them. The imagery is perfect. Such good quality labels. And there we have that little matchbook. Quite pretty, quite simple, but yet so effective. Then I want to show you something. I covered this little packaging material. It looked like that. I got some doily-like stickers in there. It's got an open face in front where they punched out the cover, and you can see the merchandise on the inside. I covered that with paper. It's quite sturdy. It's really a sturdy piece of cardstock. Quite thick. You can use it as a specimen card. No functionality. This is just for for adding some nice things to the journal. I might not include it. So I covered it with craft paper, both the inside and outside, inked some of it, and you will see when I turn it over that there are some wrinkles on the back. I embraced that imperfections and I actually inked it to show and make it more beautiful. It just adds to the grunge, which I really love. That's why I work in the vintage themes. Grunge is absolutely beautiful. You can add a little pocket at the back. You can do some stamping. You can really decorate it whichever way you want. I might still add a few labels on there. Should be tiny ones so that it's not concealed. But there we have the matchbook and that little thing, and then the one from a previous project that I've shown you, and then that little accordion file folder where you can add little bits and bobs, ephemera, postage stamps, whatever your heart desire you can put in there. Could be a nice little happy mail or something that you can send with a junk journal as a gift containing all kinds of little things. I'm just showing you how I glued it on in a T, and I took the flaps off, cut that off, and then attached it to there. Those little flaps that I cut off, you can see the glue there from the envelope. I turned it over and put the glue side down, face down, and I stamped on it. And these little slivers of paper can be used for collaging, adding some interest to projects like we have used for the last couple of times. The collage backgrounds, those are beautiful to add there. You can tear it up or glue it down as is. Absolutely awesome. A simple way to add texture with that text stamp. And there we have it, our little matchbox for today. I hope you enjoyed it, that you learned something, and that you will try and make your own. Really not a very difficult project, showing you that you can maybe add a little tuck spot at the back if you so wish. Hope you liked this today and that you will try it as I said. Do take care, look after yourself, and thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it.